All right, welcome back to wholesaling and flipping houses. Let's talk about you got the contract, now what? And then I also want to talk to you about buyers. You got your different types of buyers, how to find buyers, and building your buyers lists. Okay, so you got the contract, now what? So you got the contract. Now let's back up a little bit. Some of this is written a little bit out of order because I got on here open title and then finding title company. It's actually backwards. Okay, so what you need to do is you need to look for a title company. You can actually start doing this ahead of time before you get deals. There's different ways to find a title company. You can network, you can reach out on social media. You know, there's there's so many different ways that you can find title companies. But basically, you want to know if a title company is investor friendly or wholesaler friendly. Basically, what that means is, do they do assignment of contracts? Do they do double closes? Do they do blind HUDs? Do they have mobile notaries? Do mobile closings? You know, do they work with investors? You know, that's what you need to know. Do they work with investors? And you can call the title company. You can talk to them. A lot of times at networking events, you know, some of the representatives, they're closers. A lot of times are at networking events. You can talk to them there. You can call them on the phone. You can go visit them. You know, whatever the case is, there's so many different ways that you can find. It's just like, you know, finding buyers. There's a whole bunch of different ways that you can find title companies that are investor friendly, that will do assignments and things of that nature. So once you have a title company that you know, you want to go ahead and work with, give some business to, and see how it goes. Once you get the property in the contract, you want to send them the contract, and if you have it, you want to send them the assignment of contract. You want to send them your earnest money if you're going to put earnest money down. You want to send them all the information you have on the property, but specifically, you want to send them the contract and ask them to open title. Now, the way I generally do it, I try to use just a couple of title companies, and when I do it, I send an email. I email them the contract and say, here's the contract for this property. I send it in the morning. They usually get there between 8:30 and 9 o'clock in the morning, and I usually try to send it to them. You know, if I get the contract one day, then I send it to them the next morning. So that they see it when they get there. It's also labeled urgent, you know, with the property address. I put on there urgent, and then in the message, I put, I have a contract on this property, I need title open, and I need to put a rush on it. Because typically I can get title back, it usually takes about 48 hours or so. If I put a rush on it, I get title back, you know, pretty quick. And they usually get back with me and say, hey, okay, here's the title commitment. And I'll look at the title commitment and look over it. That's a whole topic for another video. So that's what I usually do is as I get the contract over to title, have them open title, have them put a rush on title, and then ask them as soon as the title commitment comes in, then I look at the title commitment, see if there's anything that we have to overcome or anything that we have to get worked out or whatnot. And the title companies I work with are usually pretty good. They know there's some things on title, hey, we can get this removed, or, you know, whatever the case may be. Then you want to, if there's anything that the seller's going to need to fill out, you want to ask your title company, hey, if you need anything from the seller, reach out to me and let me know. I'll get it over to the seller, and then I'll get it back from them and get it over to you, get it back to you, and make sure you get it on the time and manner. My title company is very great. They actually do that step for me. You don't always, you know, some people recommend that, you know, that's not very good. You don't want that. However, I have a relationship with my title company. They're very good. They're very good at what they do. And we have that relationship where I trust them. They know me, I know them. So that I'm perfectly fine with them taking care of it. They need to reach out to the seller for any kind of, you know, information sheets or whatnot. And then you also have to follow up with them. it's very important you follow up with the title company. The way I look at it is the title company, they've got 100 or more deals that they're trying to get closed. They have 100 or more customers that they have to tend to and get. And I'm just one of them. Well, you know what? I've got a particular deal with them, and that's my deal. So that's at the top of my list. It may not be at the top of their list, because of the fact that they have so many other deals and contracts and files that they're trying to get, taken care of as well. You're not just going to be their number one, and everybody else is going to be on hold. So you need to take that initiative and follow up with them, whether it's phone call, email, whatever the case is. And also keep in mind too, the closer it gets to the end of the month, have some patience with them as well. Because at the end of the month, they're trying to close out as many as they can, as many files as they can. And so they're pretty stressed out. So I'm apologetic every time I have to reach out to them. The later in the month it gets, I'm apologetic because I understand that they have other files that they're working on. And then once everything is worked out, once the title commitment's approved, once all the numbers are ran, everything's approved, then the next step is to set up closing. You coordinate that with your sellers, you coordinate that with your buyers, or you coordinate that with your lender. And you just set up closing that's convenient for all parties. And then you go to closing. Or your seller goes to closing and then your buyer goes to closing, or however you have that worked out. And that's pretty much it. So once you get the contract, you need to open up title, and you need to make sure you get title commitment back, and then you need to make sure that everything is going smoothly and to get an actual closing date. If you can close by the contract date, the closing date on your contract, great. If you can close before then, even better. So that is what you do once you get a contract on a property, is you get closing ready to go. Now, let's jump into I like to call this fun stuff, buyers. There's different types of buyers, there's different ways to find buyers, and there's building your buyers list. Now, as mentioned before, I'm a buyer. Now, my exit strategy, this falls under types of buyers. You have different types. You have your fix and flippers, you have your buy and holds. Those are your primary types of buyers. Now, there's note buyers and there's other types, but for this particular video series, we're going to focus on the fix and flippers and the buy and holds. Now, what's the difference between the two? Well, obviously, a buy, fix, and flip is I'm going to buy a distressed property, I'm going to fix it up, and I'm going to put it on the market, just like this one. I bought this property, and this property was in really bad condition, old condition, needed a lot of updating, and hadn't been updated in quite a while. So we had a really, really big rehab budget. So we came in, it was distressed, we bought it, we fixed it up, now it's on the market for retail. So once it closes, we're going to get our money, and we're going to go on to the next deal. Okay, so that's a buy, fix, and flip. Now your buy and hold, what they're going to do is they're going to come in and they're going to buy the property. So for example, if this was a buy and hold property, I wouldn't have put near as much money into it. I would just do what we call rent-ready repairs. So I would get it up to rent-ready standards, the market rent-ready standards, and then I would actually be holding the property as a rental property. Instead of putting it up on the market for sale, I'd put it on the market for lease or for rent, and I would find a tenant to come in here and pay whatever the market rent is, and I would hold the property long term, and I would instead of making a profit up front, I make a smaller profit, but in the long run, it's going to be a larger profit because I make my profit over a month. Instead of one lump sum, I make it month to month. So there's your two types of buyers: your fix and flippers, which I'm one of them. If you have a property that, if you go back and look at the previous video about making an offer, look at my formula. If you have a property that will fit a buy, fix, and flip criteria, then I'm a buyer for that type of property. If you have a property that's a buy and hold, which sometimes you may have to pay a little bit more for a property, and the numbers don't work for a fix and flip, but they will still work for a cash flow property, that falls under the buy and hold. All right, finding buyers. How do you find buyers? Lots of ways to find buyers. You find buyers by going to real estate events. You find buyers on social media. You can post in different groups saying, hey, I'm a wholesaler looking to build my buyers list. Can I get your contact information? Okay. Now, don't leave it there. All right. Follow up and build a relationship with them. Take them out for coffee, take them out to lunch. Find out what types of properties they're looking for. Find out their criteria. Find out if you want it, I can send you mine. But I have a buying criteria. What properties I look for. I actually have that as a landing page or some sort of page on my website. I have an actual criteria typed out that I send to people, so they can know what types of properties I buy. You get to know them so that you know what types of properties to send them. For example, I have particular buyers on my list that I send to. If I'm not going to buy that property, then I'm going to send it to them, and I know who to send it to if it's a flip property or if it's a buy and hold. I also have buyers that do both. They don't mind. They don't have one specific exit strategy. They can flip or they can buy and hold. So knowing who your buyers are, getting to know them, find out what they're wanting. For example, let's take pizza. Say if my wife's gonna order us some pizza, I'm not a big pepperoni pizza fan. My favorite kind of pizza is supreme. So she knows that if we're gonna order pizza, that she's gonna order me a supreme, or certain type of pizza that I like. And I know the opposite. If I'm going to be ordering a pizza, she doesn't like supreme, so I'm not going to order 2 large supremes for us to share because she doesn't like supremes. And that's the same thing. If you have a flipper, for example, I'm a flipper right now. I'm not set up to do rentals, so if you send me a rental, the only thing I can do with it is co-wholesale it. I'm not going to be the end buyer on that. All right. So know what your buyers are looking for. Know their exit strategy. And then the next thing is, once you have that relationship built, about what they're looking for. Send them what they're looking for. And build that relationship with them. Like I mentioned in the previous video, I've got a handful of buyers that I can pull out my phone and I can send a text to, or I can call them and say, hey, I've got this property in contract. These are the numbers. You want it? And I know right out the bat if they're interested or not. Buyers list. Now, I know people out there that they have in the neighborhood of close to 100,000 buyers on their buyers list. Personally, I'm just in the Houston market. I don't need that many people on my buyers list. Like I said, a handful of buyers. My process that I do when I assign a property is I text or call my primary buyers, and then if they don't want it, then I take it to an event, and if I can't get it sold there, then I put it on social media, which I have only put, I think, 2 properties on social media that I've had to do it that way. But most of the time, my properties, I can get them sold just with a call or a text. I don't do big email blasts. I don't do any of that stuff. Now, some people do, and they're great. That works great for them. There's some people in multiple markets. In multiple markets, yeah, you need a bigger buyers list. However, in each individual market, my personal preference is to have a small group of buyers that I work with, because I know that I could, like I said, shoot them a text, pick up the phone, and have it done that way. I have assigned properties within the hour of getting it under contract. I've assigned properties, the following day. It doesn't take me long because I know my buyers. It doesn't take me long. Once I get a property under contract, if it's a true deal, it doesn't take me long to sell it at all. So I don't need to go through all that process. And as far as when you're first starting out, you really want to find you some buyers that you can work really closely with. But again, having a big buyers list or having a small buyers list, that's each person's preference. I prefer not to have a huge buyers list. So that's dealing with buyers. Once again, I'm a buyer for fix and flip properties, 832-534-2274. I can also bring buyers for your deals. If you're just starting out and you need a buyer, for buy and hold or whatnot, I can bring buyers for your deal. So if you want to partner up on a deal, whether it's you want to bring me in and help me negotiate and get the contract, you want me to recommend a title company that I use, you want me to bring buyer to the table for you, and we do some sort of split of the assignment fee. Whatever the case is, if there's any way that I could help or add value, reach out to me at that number, reach out to me on social media, send me a message, find a way to get in touch with me. Very easy to get in touch with, very easy to work with. I love pouring knowledge out there. I love adding value every which way that I can. So, you know what to do once you get the property under contract and you know about buyers now. So again, coming up in the next couple of videos, we're going to be talking about repairs and evaluating repairs and everything that goes along with that. We're going to talk a little bit more about evaluating properties and coming up with ARVs. We're going to do some do's and don'ts, a couple of things to stay away from. So yeah, that's where we are right now, and we're moving right along through this process. Again, I ask you, just like I do on every video, if you like this video or if it was useful, please let me know. Hit the subscribe button, and then also click the little bell so that you get notified when I upload another video. And if you want to work together, or you think that I can help you get started or anything like that, again, I'm not a guru, I'm not a mentor, I'm not a coach, but I'm willing to pass along my knowledge. I'm not selling anything, but I am willing to be a partner for you and add value any which way that I can. So that being said, I'm going to go ahead and sign off, and I look forward to hearing from you soon.